Welcome, 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 everyone, to today's challenge of the personal development with Conversations with Deborah. Today is day 23 of, let me make sure I got that right. We did day 22, right? Day 23, yeah, of learning how to live a life of gratitude. It's the principles and teachings of the book, The Magic, by Rhonda Byrne, which was written in 2012, well, published in 2012. It's a self-help and spirituality book written by Rhonda Byrne. It is one of the 4 books in the Secret series. My name is Deborah Barton-Birden. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I welcome you today. I'm going to be your facilitator of the reading. We missed some days there, and I want to apologize to those that were looking for the post of the following days. I had a bout with my fibromyalgia, so I want to apologize for not being available to continue our challenge day back to back, but we are going to finish it. If you got fibromyalgia or if you're chronic fatigue syndrome, individual, you know what I've been dealing with the weather change, with the season change. I'm thinking about having a hangout about that too. I'm in quite a few Facebook groups that of people that have challenges of chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, and some other diseases that dis-ease of the body that we share our challenges and our remedies to this situation of day-to-day living, as well as individuals that are caregivers of people of those diagnoses. So I'm gonna plan on having a hangout about that as well, because it's really hard when the season changes, especially the summer to fall. The roller coaster ride that you get on is just unbelievable. But I am grateful for the gift of health that is keeping me alive. And today we're going to do day 23 of learning how to live a life of gratitude right here and now where you are, so we can live our best life now. I want to welcome Sam Brett. I'm sorry. Let me slow down a minute. Sam Bradley from Marion, North Carolina. I almost called him our other partner, Stan. Sam, how you doing today? And I'm glad.
Doing pretty good.
That's good.
Things seem to be working out a little better today.
Yeah, we were in Skype, and we were talking to each other, and it seems like you've been going through some challenges as well.
Yes. Kind of had a period of what you might say, not inspired. Not,
You got another page open. There you go. There you go. I make that mistake sometimes too. I'll be checking the other pages to see if they're running and run into that situation because it's a delayed response to when we're live to what is being streamed elsewhere, because we have a lot of pages that are streaming our live hangout, and when we check those pages, we'll get those echoes of what we've already said. But yeah, you were talking, me and you were talking in Skype, and it's ironic that quite a few people have made the comment, I don't feel very inspired these days. I don't feel good. And you were sharing with me that you were having that same circumstance at the same time I was.
yeah. Well, I don't know what it was. I got plenty of sleep. Uh, I guess just another whistle stop, you might say.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's just how our bodies want to adjust to the change of seasons. My mom had to point out to me many years ago, over 20 years ago, that uh, I was dealing with a season change as young as 12 years old. She brought it to my attention when I was about 32. I'm 60 now. That every season changed when we went from summer to fall. I would kind of go into a form of depression. Wouldn't last long, but it would affect my ability to stay vibrant, happy, energy flowing, and it was just, I'd crawl into a shell. And after she brought it to my attention, I began to look for it, and I can acknowledge now that I do have this roller coaster ride to my levels where I'll crawl into a shell. It's like I'm living under a rock for about 7 to 10 days, and uh, until my body adjusts to the change of the season. And I found out after researching, it's a lot of people that go through this. A
Yeah,
lot of people go through it, and it's not getting better because of all the impurities of the food, water, and air that we are taking into our body is actually exacerbated it to a level of uh, a extreme. I noticed that each year as I get older, it becomes harder to bounce back from it. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I could bounce back from it quick, or I could get through it a lot easier than I do now. Now I've learned how to just, it is what it is.
I
And I've
think we grow spiritually though. We our body's physical body will deteriorates over each year that comes in a season change, but I grow spiritually.
you just hit on a really strong point, and I have to agree with you.
Hello, can't hear you. Hello, hello. Yeah, you're
Okay.
back.
Yeah, look like we're back. I didn't know if I was going to get it back or not. Um, I don't know. Lately I've been dealing with some interruptions to my connection to the point where I have a serviceman coming out Thursday to take the box. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm glad that we are, and I'm grateful that we're back on our broadcasting today. Well, and with technology, whatever can go wrong will go wrong, and we just have to learn how to problem solve it as we go through it. Um, Speaking of today's reading, I'm gonna get started with today's challenge, which is the magical air that you breathe. This is gonna be an interesting one. Excuse me. We've got a quote from Mary Ellen Chase. Uh, she was born in 1887 and lived to 1973. She was an educator and writer. She says, "It is quite possible to leave your home for a walk in the early morning air and return a different person, beguiled and enchanted." Have you ever went on a walk and just because you can and experienced a complete change in your uh, state of mind and the way you were thinking from when you first started? I do it all the time. In fact, that is what motivates me to take walks, is so my creativity can get a break from the mundane, constant working and take in new ideas. So I want to thank Mary Ellen Chase for that one. Today's reading says, if someone had told me a few years back to be grateful for the air that I breathe, I would have thought the person was crazy. It wouldn't have made a bit of sense to me. Why on earth would anyone be grateful for the air they breathe? But as my life changed from using gratitude, the things that I took for granted or didn't give a second thought about became an absolute miracle to me. I went from sweating the small stuff in my little world and day-to-day life to opening my eyes and thinking about the bigger picture and wonder of the universe. As the great scientist Newton said, when I look at the solar system, I see the Earth at the right distance from the sun to receive the proper amounts of heat and light. This did not happen by chance. Those words made me think more and more about the bigger picture. It's not an accident that there's a protective atmosphere around us, and that beyond it, there's no air or oxygen. It's not an accident that the trees give off oxygen so that our atmosphere is continually replenished. It's not an accident that our solar system is perfectly placed and that I'm sorry. If it were not, if it were anywhere else in the galaxy, we would most likely be devastated by cosmic radiation. There are thousands of parameters and ratios that support life on Earth. All of them are on a knife edge, and their fine-tuning is so critical that a fraction of a difference in any of these parameters and ratios would make life unlivable on the planet Earth. It is difficult to believe any of these things could have happened by accident. It would seem that they are perfectly designed, perfectly placed, perfectly balanced for us. When the realization hits you that all things that might not be an accident, and that the balance of every microscopic element surrounding Earth and on Earth is in perfect harmony to support us, you will feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude for life, because all of it has been done to sustain you. The magical air that you breathe is not an accident or a fluke of nature. When you think about the enormousness of what had to take place in the universe for us to have air. And you then take a breath, and breathing air into your body becomes breathtaking in every sense of the word. We take a breath after another and never give a thought to the fact that there is always air for us to breathe. Yet oxygen is one of the most plentiful elements in our body. And as we breathe, it feeds every cell in our body so that we can continue to live. The most precious gift of our life is air, because without it, none of us would last more than a few minutes. When I first began to use gratitude's magical power, I used it for a lot of personal things that I wanted. And it worked. But it was when I began to be grateful for the real gifts in life that I experienced the ultimate power of gratitude. The more grateful I became for a sunset, a tree, the ocean, the dew on the grass, my life, and the people in it, every material thing I've ever dreamed of having poured down upon me. I now understand the reason why it happened that way. When we can truly be grateful for the precious gifts of life and nature, like the magical air that we breathe, we have reached one of the deepest possible levels of gratitude. And whoever has that depth of gratitude will receive absolute abundance. Today, stop and think about the glorious air that you breathe. Take 5 deliberate breaths and feel the feeling of the air moving inside your body. And feel the joy of breathing it out. Take 5 full breaths in and out 5 different times today. And after you have taken each set of 5 breaths, say the magic words, "Thank you for the magical air that I breathe." Excuse me 1 minute. I had to let my daughter in the door. It was locked. Sorry about that. To pick up where we were, thank you for the magical air that I breathe, and be as genuinely grateful as you can for the precious, life-giving air that you breathe. It is best if you can do this magical practice outside so you can really feel and appreciate the magnificence of fresh air. But if that's not possible, then do it inside. You can close your eyes while taking the breaths, or you can do it with your eyes open. You can do it while you're walking, waiting in line, shopping, or anywhere at any time you want. The important thing is to deliberately feel the feeling of the air going in and out of your body. Breathe the way you naturally breathe, because this magical practice is not about your breathing, but about your gratitude for the air you breathe. If taking a bigger breath helps you to feel more gratitude, then do that. If it helps to make a sound or mentally say to the magic words, "Thank you," as you breathe the air out, then do that. If you want, you can also do a variation of this practice in the future by imagining you're breathing in gratitude and filling yourself up with it with every breath you take. In ancient teachings, it is said that when a person reaches the point of being deeply grateful for the air that you breathe, their gratitude will have reached a new level of power, and they will have become the true alchemists who can effortlessly turn every part of their life into gold. So that's today's reading. I, for one, can be grateful for this chapter. And anyone that has ever experienced the situation of not being able to breathe on your own knows how powerful this chapter is. I can share a little story with you of personal experience. I'm an empty nester now, and I live by myself. And I happened to be home one night around 10 o'clock at night. I was beginning to feel a tightness to my chest. And my mental thought went to, okay, my COPD is kicking up. And I kind of got busy and ignored the situation. And then about 30, maybe 40 minutes later, I began to feel the tightness tighter in my chest. And I decided, because my mental thought was, well, it'll go away. So at the second conscious thought of it, I began to realize I was going to have some problems. So I have a machine that gives me a treatment of steroids to open my lungs when my COPD kicks up. And I was trying to set up the machine and administer that treatment. And in the process of setting it up, I actually went into a state where I couldn't breathe on my own. It was a very frightening experience for me. I actually threw the hand set down on the floor and jumped up, and I don't even know why I did this. My first mind was I grabbed my cell phone and ran to the kitchen sink and turned the hot water on. And I don't even know what made me do that, but all I knew was I had to get 911 on the phone. So I called 911, and I could barely tell her, I can't breathe. Those were the only words I could say. I can't breathe. And the lady said, okay, let's be calm. Can you tell me your address? And I said again, I can't breathe. And she then began to GPS my cell phone and found my address. And she read my address back to me, and all I could say was yes. And I was beginning to get faint to the point where I think I was going to pass out. And she said, is your door unlocked? And I said, I was able to say no. It was a very frightening experience. What it ended up having to do was crawl to the front door, unlock the door, and then I came and I was taking very, very shallow breaths. It was really frightening. I think about it now, and I realize that could have been my last breath here on earth. I could have died that night. When the EM got here, they administered me oxygen right away, and they did my blood pressure, and with their oxygen, I was able to start being able to, talk, and they explained they were going to rush me to the hospital and so on. And they saw, the box of meds sitting on the piano and so on. But it was a frightening experience, and it really made me realize how grateful I am that I can breathe on my own. So many people are on oxygen 24 hours a day. I thank God I'm not. But there is always the possibility of it because I am diagnosed with COPD. I do breath exercises that help me strengthen my lungs. And surprisingly, my last test showed that it's working. My attitude is to be grateful for breathing, because it is the breathing that comes into my lungs that keeps me alive. And my daily gratitude that I pencil in on my list is the gift of good health is keeping me alive. Because I've been put in the hospital so many times that I realize that I'm very grateful to have the wisdom to be, conscious of what I put in my body, how I treat my body, because if you're faced with the the eerie idea that this may be your last breath can be overtaking of your mind and the body. That's happened to me several times that I've had to. It just comes on you all of a sudden, and have to be rushed by EM. Now, the most frightening time was that last time because I was home alone. The times before, one of my children were here and was able to call 911 and help me. One time I just passed completely out and woke up in the hospital. So this is a critical, gratitude to work on, is being grateful for the fact that you can breathe. And the other is to be grateful for the people that are working very diligently to clean up the air so we have clean air to breathe. Sam, did you have anything you wanted to share in regard to today's reading?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. Well, your body does suffer a lot. Everybody's body suffers a lot. It's because of the fall of mankind, basically because we were meant to live forever in this body, but it suffers because of what we did to ourselves, starting with Adam, But learning how to deal with it, and well, you have to deal with it with your spiritual side, and it's connected together, yes, to your spiritual, but the Bible does say that the body profits nothing, does it? So it's really nothing. It's good to have. We have to have the body, but according to what the Bible Scripture says, it profits nothing, and we should live to the spirit, because the body causes us to do things wrong, do wrong things, and so our spiritual body has to learns from our wrong, and I'm trying to say we in the long run we profit spiritually, and looking for a better way of life for our body, but actually our body is going to keep on deteriorating from the moment we were born. It's deteriorating, so we have to deal with that spiritually, and the ultimate goal is to reach a spiritual oneness with God, and that's what we're here for, is to reach that oneness with God, and spiritually, so we can be in His presence someday.
That is so true. And it's unfortunate that we're not taught so we can teach our offspring that we need to take care of the body as early as possible. So many of us just work from what our parents and our teachers taught us, and as we mature and learn and seek wisdom, we begin to find out that there was a lot that was left out of the equation. I was not taught at the age of 19, when I decided to pick up a cigarette and think I looked cute smoking a cigarette, that what the consequences of my actions would be until I was in my 30s. And I think that truly came out of the fact that many people had not experienced the symptoms of smoking cigarettes until I was around that age. And then even then, when the Surgeon General came out with his warning we become a slave to the flesh, and we continue to do what we should not do. So I agree with you, Sam, is the fact that our bodies, uh, they suffer the consequence of our actions, our choices, and the things that we do, which is why I suffer with COPD today. Uh, it's just become more of a conscious
Yep.
human, body, and learn what we need to learn very early on, and make sure that we pass it on to our children. You were going to say something?
Yeah, we're not spiritually all awake either.
Excuse me.
Even though we have a spiritual body and we have a physical body, both dwelling inside the spiritual body dwells inside the physical body. It's not completed, but someday there will be a completion, and then the physical body will be renewed and unite with the completed spiritual body, and it's called the glorified body. So uh, we can have that to look forward to while we're trying to deal with all the problems that we face due to all the fall of mankind from grace, and we have to deal with that. But there's a reason behind it. Uh, it's in God's great plan, that we learn and actually have a better understanding of knowledge of good and evil instead of just good only. And so we have to deal with it every day. But there is an increase if we're obedient to what the Word says. There is an increase in our spiritual awakening, and each day is a new morning. As joy comes in the morning every morning, whether we know it or not. There's joy coming every morning. So once we reach that place where we can recognize that, then we can be more relaxed during the day and take care of our body. Once we realize that uh, those things that I said.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's funny. As I was listening to what you were saying, I was remembering how I pushed my body. I pushed my body so hard in my younger years to do the things that I wanted to do um, physically. And, you don't feel it when you're doing it, but the consequences, the long-term consequences, come later. Um, and you're absolutely right about the fact that we're not complete, especially in spiritual. Um, that is the promise made to us uh, down the road. Even if we leave the physical, we're still not complete. That glorified day is coming to all of us um, that are believers of the Creator and in Jesus Christ as our Savior. So uh, it is just, the key thing for I believe is to get at the wisdom now so we can do the right things in the physical, so we can make our journey long and fruitful. Uh, so many of us are suffering right now because of our own lack of knowledge. Um, and many of us don't even seek the wisdom that we need to seek on the spiritual nature by reconnecting spiritually to a higher power. It's so many things bombarding, the body right now, and it because I didn't do it. I didn't do it until I actually became sick. Did I start to seek better knowledge of how to take care of my body. I took for granted and assumed so much that, I'm not where I was when I first got sick. It was a fast downslope of literally not being able to do anything for myself. I had needed help as I was trying to give help to my father. In the end, he left and went home, and then had to start taking care of me. Did I start to take the time to really look at what I could have done in the beginning? So I am better now. I am better now. I am doing better things for my body. But it is in that consciousness of knowing, seeking wisdom of
Yeah.
how to take care of the body is what.
Like you said, we suffer the consequences of our wrong choices,
Yes, yes,
but
that
we have
is.
to be able to know what the right choices are for our
Mhm.
own personal
And
journey.
not take for granted, and not take for granted the gifts that we've been given. Like today's teaching is being grateful for the ability to breathe. Um, and unless you've experienced it, you don't even realize that you're taking for granted the fact that you can take a breath of air. Without air, we can't live. We only have a few, if that, minutes to do without air. Otherwise, the body dies. The
Right.
spirit lives forever, but the body dies, and then you're not in the physical. So, today is a very valuable teaching to just be grateful that you can breathe,
Yeah. And
and
then
treat it
once
magic.
you become grateful, then you can look for things that the desires of your heart. You know,
Yes,
you
that
can,
is so true.
and then God is so good that He will give you the desires of your heart. Uh,
Yes.
as long as you reach that point of wisdom, you know that you're doing His will
Hmm.
as much as you can, and we're always going to be straying away from His will. But uh, once we reach a certain point, then uh, he will, give us what we want.
Hmm. That is so true. That is so true. Um, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we take care of the necessities of life and not take it for granted, then the pleasures of life will be given to us in abundance. We'll be surprised at the things that we can accumulate and acquire through our thoughts and you know, you can dream of having something, but to physically receive it is the big magic or uh, life of living. And that's why, I share this book with so many, that a life of gratitude is the gateway to receiving. You know, you can have the thought or dream of it, but until you're actually grateful for what you've already got, will you begin to receive more? Which is why I feel this book is a very good book for teaching us the principles of stepping into a life of gratitude, where every day, every minute of every day is in gratitude for uh, everything that you have in your life. I know for a fact I took for granted many things, and that was really not giving God the honor for just giving me life and all that comes with it. My bodily organs continue to function. Uh, you know, without anything, take any part of that equation out. The organs, how they function, the blood, the heart. You can't live. So you got to be grateful for every aspect of your life. There are so many people that don't know they're taking it for granted, and you could be challenged on that in those last days. It's a
And
principle on this, that if you've ever been in that situation, you're more conscious of being grateful. But those that have not been challenged on it, they just assume, that that's their right to have it. And it is. It's everyone's right to have what we have. But you can have it so much better by just being
I'll be
grateful.
right back. Debbie's calling.
Okay, no problem. Um, but in that process, what I'm hoping to relate to everyone is something as simple as the air you breathe is a key component of why you live. And just take time today to say thank you. That you can breathe and you can breathe on your own. That's a gift, a magical gift from the Creator. So to wrap up today's reading, I'm going to go into the summary of today, which is, I lost my spot now. Let me go back. Let me do this. I lost my spot. Flicking around on the page. Okay. So the magic practice of today is number 23, the magical air that you breathe. The first thing you're going to do is count your blessings. You're going to make a list of 10 blessings. You're going to write why you're grateful for them. And then you're going to reread your list at the end of each blessing saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Excuse me, and feel as grateful for that blessing as you can. The second thing you're going to do today is 5 times today, you're going to stop and think about the glorious air that you breathe. You're going to take 5 deliberate breaths and feel the feeling of the air moving inside your body. And feel the joy of breathing it out. Now, those that do meditation know what that is a critical part of becoming spiritually connected to yourself. And after you've taken those 5 breaths, you're going to say the magic words, thank you for the magical air that I breathe. Be as grateful as you can for the precious life-giving air that you breathe. And just before you go to sleep tonight, you're going to hold your magic rock in one hand, and you're going to say the magic words, thank you, for the best thing that happened during the day. That's the wrap-up summary of today's teaching. Tomorrow is the Magic Wand, day 24. We've only got 5 more days to do of our 28-day challenge, and then we'll discuss what we'll go from there. I want to thank everyone that took the time to come share in our reading today. Before we close out today, I want to make an announcement. We have some slots open for interviews. If you're considering an interview about you and what you do, tell your story, connect with either Sam or I, and we'll get you started on doing an interview that you can use. It'll be recorded, and you can use in sharing with, within your social media. It'll tell your story about you and what you do. This is a very easy circumstance, about 15 minutes for your interview. You can share the questions with us that you want asked, and we'll work to really put together a professional circumstance that you'll be proud to share with others. Or if you just want to help us to help you create a video of introducing yourself to others. Because, as we build our social media connections, we build so many so fast that you need something that is hard copy that you can put on your blog or on a introductory page where it's a meet and greet, and people get to know you. Because the key thing is people have to know, like, and trust you before they follow you. And it helps to have that put together. Now, you can do your own interview by yourself, But it's much easier when you have someone to ask questions. And it takes away the pitch form of it all. We're also going to go into a training about how to build relationships coming next Sunday. I actually was going to do it this past Sunday at 7 o'clock, but I had to change it to the next Sunday because I just was, like I said, was not feeling up to power to be on a public platform. If you're looking for a coach or mentor to help you get your business up and going, you can go to coaching.4stepstosuccess.com. Connect with me, and I will do some one-on-one mentoring and coaching about your plan for you and your business. If you want to be interviewed or advertised on the show, you can go to letschathere.com. That's letschathere.com or marketingtelecenter.com. And we'll be more than happy to help you get that put together. We are sharing our links in the description of the recorded session of this, so please subscribe to our channel, Bots Advertising, and share with others. You can share it on your timeline at Facebook or on Google Plus, and invite others to the practices of learning how to live a life of gratitude and all the other things that we are bringing to the table to help you live a life more abundantly. Get the personal development and practices of living a life more abundantly. A life of gratitude, a life of joy, happy, peace, wisdom. Sam, I want to thank you again today for participating in today's hangout. And with that said, I'm going to say, everyone have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
As I awaken with the gift of yet another day and prepare for the tasks at hand, I offer up this most ardent prayer. I pray for continued clarity of purpose, so that I may hold my vision steady and keep my focus on the needs and success of others, which in turn shall bring me my success. I pray for the wisdom to expect abundance in my life, that it surrounds me and is available for the taking, and to be shameless and unapologetic upon its receipt, for I deserve abundance. I pray for a cheerful countenance, be it clear or cloudy skies, and that I may radiate and infect others with my positive attitude. I pray for the trust of others, that they may recognize my sincerity and true intentions, so that we may move forward together. I pray for the strength to fend off adversity and use my desire and determination as both weapon and shield. I pray for the courage to carry forth my convictions during the battle of business, and to resist temptation to a quicker monetary result, when such temptation compromises these things for which I stand. I pray that I may be used as a lightning rod to collect the amazing ideas already present in the universe, and when blessed with such inspiration, that I may be able to apply my talents and abilities to turn the power of thought into measurable advancement of my goals. I pray to retain my childhood wonder, so that I may recognize and revel in the small miracles of each day that others may miss. I pray for an infinite supply of self-confidence, for it alone fortifies faith, strengthens my resolve, and conquers the largest enemy I will ever face, fear. I pray for a compassionate spirit and the patience to offer those who seek my advice and my help my full and undivided attention. I pray for good health and a feeling of well-being, and the continued desire to improve those areas of my physical life I may be neglecting in the name of my spiritual and entrepreneurial advancement. I pray that today is a day of excellence, and at its conclusion, I can acknowledge and be grateful for the forward motion I have made and the growth I have experienced. I pray most of all for the understanding and support of those closest to my heart, my family, that they will equate what may seem like endless hours of apparent preoccupation with affairs of business to what is at the very core of my being, that which drives me. For once I achieve what I have set out in its fullest, I will become that more complete being I strive to be. It is for these things I pray, for I am an entrepreneur.